Kali Linux 2021.4, released with Raspberry Pi Zero support, GNOME 41 and new hacking tools. Offensive Security released today Kali Linux 2021.4 as the fourth and last maintenance update to their Debian-based GNU Linux distribution for ethical hacking and penetration testing. Coming 3 months after Kali Linux 2021.3, the Kali Linux 2021.4 release is here with Linux kernel 5.14, support for the recently launched Raspberry Pi Zero 2W single board computer, unfortunately without Nexmon support. Improved support for Apple Silicon M1 Max, extended compatibility for the Samba client to support almost all Samba servers out there, and easier configuration of package manager's mirror. Kali Linux default desktop environment Xfce received a bunch of enhancements in this release. For example, the panel layout was tweaked to optimize the horizontal space and add 2 new widgets, CPU usage and VPN IP. Furthermore, the task manager was configured to icons only. The button's appearance was assigned to the workspace overview, and the number of virtual workspace was increased to 4. Kali Linux also supports the GNOME and KDE Plasma desktop environments when installing the distribution, and this release updates them to their latest version, namely GNOME 41 and KDE Plasma 5.23. All 3 main desktops supported by Kali Linux received a window buttons design. Previous buttons were designed to fit the window theme of Xfce but did not work well with the other desktops and lacked personality. The new design looks elegant on any of the desktops and makes it easier to spot the currently focused window, said Offensive Security. As with all new Kali Linux releases, there are a bunch of new tools added. In the Kali Linux 2021.4 release, users will find duffel bag for searching exposed EBS volumes for secrets, name that hash utility for naming hash types, Proxmark 3 for Proxmark 3, and RFID hacking S3S scanner for scanning open S3 buckets and dump the contents, and Trufflehog for searching through Git repository for high entropy strings and secrets. Also included in this release is the Mariam open source intelligent OSINT framework, reverse proxy grapher tool for Graphis graph illustrating your reverse proxy flow, as well as Sparkcat's credential gathering tool for automatic remote procadump and parse of Xfce process. Among other changes, Kali Linux 2021.4 adds theme support to Kaboxer tool so that it no longer looks like it's from 90s, adds the social engineering toolkit with the spear phishing email attack module to Kali Linux NetHunter app, which now lets users customize their own Facebook, Messenger or Twitter DM email notification for their social engineering attacks. For AMR user, this release adds overclock support for the Pinebook Pro laptop, adds a new USBArmory MkII image, and adds USB booting support to all Raspberry Pi images, and adds ext4 root file system to all ARM images. You can download Kali Linux 2021.4 right now from the official website. Kali Linux 2021.4 improves support for Apple M1, Samba, and updates desktop. There are several projects that develop and release ethical hacking Linux distribution, but I think the most popular is the one that released its last update of the year today, Kali Linux 2021.4. It's the 4th version of 2021 and they release one every quarter, so it will be the last. The previous one was 2021.3, which launched in September with novelties such as the Kali NetHunter for smartwatches as long as you have compatible one. Although it is not something that interests many Linux users, since we usually buy a PC and not a Mac. Offensive Security stands out first, then Kali Linux 2021.4 has further improved support for the Apple M1 that they presented just over a year ago. The rest of the novelties are not very striking, but it cannot stop being interesting that the different desktops on which this distribution is available have been updated. Highlights of Kali Linux 2021.4. Number 1. Improved support for the Apple M1. In this version, it can also be installed in VMware Fusion thanks to the Linux 5.14 kernel. Number 2. extended support for the Samba client. Number 3. Possibility of changing the package download mirrors in a simple way. Number 4. Kaboxer improvements. Number 5. New tools. Duffel bag search for secrets in exposed EBS volumes. Mariam open source intelligence framework. Named state hash. The name a hash type. We do not know it. Proxmark 3 for those who like Proxmark 3 and RFID hacking. Reverse proxy grapher. GraphViz graph illustrating reverse proxy flows. S3 scanner scans open S3 cubes and dumps their content. Sparkcats credential collection tool that automates the program and remote parsing process of assays. Trufflehog searches Git repositories for high entropy string and secrets, digging into commit history. Web of Trust Grapher Wattmate implements the defunct PGP Pathfinder without needing anything more than your own keychain. Number 6. Updated desktops. But with one thing in common, the close, minimize and restore buttons are the same across environments. Number 7. GNOME 41, Plasma 5.23 and Xfce 4.16. Number 8. Improvements in NetHunter and in the ARM edition that you can read in the release notes. More. Kali Linux is a Debian-based distribution with a collection of security and forensic tools. The project has published a new release, Kali Linux 2021.4, which improves support for ARM-powered devices including Apple M1 machine and the Raspberry Pi 02W. With end of 2021 just around the corner, we are pushing out the last release of the year with Kali Linux 2021.4, which is ready for immediate download or updating. The summary of the changelog since the 2021.3 release from September 2021 is improved Apple M1 support, wide compatibility for Samba, switching package manager mirrors, Kaboxer theming, updates to Xfce, GNOME and KDE, Raspberry Pi 02W plus USBArmory, MkII ARM images, more tools, Kali Linux on Apple M1. As we announced in Kali Linux 2021.1, we supported installing Kali Linux on parallel on Apple Silicon Macs. Well, with 2021.4, we are now also support it on the VMware Fusion public tech preview thanks to the F.14 kernel having the module needed to the virtual GPU used. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. It helps make a good content for you. Other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out.